Creating a test is one of the very vital but yet challenging part that confronts by a teacher. Having a well-constructed test motivates students to reinforce learning, enable teachers to assess students' mastery of course objectives, as well as it provides on teaching. Well-constructed tests really plays an important role to us.
Mental exercises for the letter A. We are the tasked to give a non-example of each the following rules of the thumb. In the construction of the true-false test, then improve it to become a good example of the test. Avoid giving hints in the body of the question. Our non-example is the Philippines gained its independence in 1898 and therefore celebrated its centennial year in 2000, which is obviously the answer is false because 100 years from 1898 is 2000, but 1998 to improve this one is year 2000 in centennial year to celebrate the independence that the Philippines gained. As you can see, we have applied the first guidance, which is avoid giving inadvertently or hits within the question. Second guideline to avoid using the word always, never, and other such adverbs with then to be always true or always false. For the non-example, Christmas always falls on a Sunday because it's Sabbath day, where the statement that use the word always are almost always false. In order to improve the phrase is to apply the guideline, which is to avoid using always adverb. So here it goes. Christmas falls on a Sunday because it is Sabbath day. Third rule is to avoid the long sentence which tend to be true. Keep sentence short. For our non-example, journalism is a timely report of events at the local, provincial, national, and international levels. It involves the gathering of information through interviewing and research, the result of which are turned into fair and a balanced story of publication, or for television or radio broadcast. The other answer of the given question is actually correct, but the meaning that is being provided is too long. So for the betterment of this one, let's make this into like this. Journalism is the timely report of events at the local, provincial, national, and international level, which is direct to its point. Fourth guideline is to avoid the systematic pattern for the true and false statement, just like this. Sonnet 18 is a writing by William Shakespeare, which it has a systematic for true and false. It does not follow the appropriate guideline. On the other hand, the answer is that given item is false, since the surname of the author is misspelled. The correct spelling of his surname is Shakespear. And the last but not the least, to avoid ambiguous sentence which can be interpreted as true and at the same time false. For the non-example, verb is not in action word. Instead, it describes the word. The answer is false. It is too cliche as well as ambiguous since everyone knows that verb is an action word.
Moving on for the letter B part is to give non-example of each of the following rules of thumb in the construction of multiple choice test. Improve on the non-example for them to become good example of test. The first rule is to praise the stem to allow for only one correct or best answer. For the non-example is this one. A little bit tricky or confusing to find answer to the given choices, just like as you can see in the letter B and C portion. It will surely confuse the examined, so let's improve this one into which of the month we celebrate our Christmas Day. Therefore, it is easier to choose the correct answer. For the second rule, avoid giving away the answer in the stamp. Non-example is the assassin hero is the best nowadays. Assassin will always be the best hero in this time. Letter B, marksman is the commonly used hero today's generation. Letter C, tank is the superhero nowadays. As you can observe, the answer was directly given with the question. So let us revise it. In Mobile Legends, what is the best hero nowadays? The choices are this one. The answer was right the way given within the question. For the third and fourth guide is choose distractors appropriately and choose distractors so that they are equally plausible and attractive. For the non-example, the capital city of Germany is what? A. Berlin, B. Hong Kong, C. New York, D. Korea. The choices or distractors given was easy to identify. The right answer is Berlin, since it seems like a capital city than the others, which is obviously name of a country and not a capital. So to be able to improve it, let's follow the guideline, which is use appropriately distractors as well as it is plausible and attractive. For the revised one, what is the capital of Germany? A. Berlin, B. Munich, C. Bonn, D. Brandenburg. It is little bit tricky or confusing since most of the choices are famous city in Germany. Last but not the least is to phrase questions so that they will test higher order thinking skills. Non-example. In human cell, it normally contains 23 pairs of chromosomes for a total of 46. So, how many chromosomes can be found in a typical human cell? A. 12, B. 28, C. 32, D. 46. The answer was right away given with a statement which is much easier to identify the rightful answer. So we must revise this one. The question is, how many chromosomes are present in a typical human cell? Letter A, 12, letter B, 28, letter C, 32, letter D, 46. Choosing the correct answer was difficult. It will surely challenge your comprehension or any stock knowledge, which will surely test your higher order thinking skills to benefit your critical thinking skills. That's all. Thank you.
The task 2, let's try. First, we are constructed to construct a 5-item matching type regarding to the computer type system. This type of test that considered a modified multiple choice type items where the choices progressively reduce as one successfully matches the items on the left with the items on the right. Going back to the task, as you can see, we apply the guidelines in constructing it, such as first, the stem must be in the first column and the options must be in the second column. Second, the options are more in number than the stem. Third, we arrange the options alphabetically to help the examinee to conveniently find the answer. And last but not the least, like any other test, we give directions. So for the second number, we are also tasked to construct a 5-item supply test about the farm tools according to its use. A supply test is another useful device that tests the lower thinking skills of each individual. This kind of test consists of a stem and a blank where the students would write their answers, but it depends as what was instructed. Where simply, it tests the student's knowledge. Third is giving an example of supply type of test that will measure the higher order thinking skills. We have proposed an activity which is to write an appropriate synonym for each of the following, which each blank corresponds a letter. These are the metamorphose and the flourish. The appropriate synonym of metamorphose is change, which is 6 letters, while the flourish is grow, which has 4 letters. As you can notice, this question requires not only mere recall of the words, but also understanding of these words. For the fourth one, in what sense is a matching type test a variant of the multiple choice type of test? Justify your answer. A matching type test may be considered as modified multiple choices type of test where the choices progressively reduce as one successfully matches the items on the left with the items on the right. Where the matching type test may be considered being a variant of multiple choice type of test in which more than one choice is correct. For the fifth one, choose learning competencies from the K-12 curriculum guide. Construct a line paper and pencil test observing guidelines and test construction. We have chosen the competency that identifies the connection through multiple choice type of test, which is one of the components of pencil and paper test, where it affects the domain of learning such as critical thinking skills, cognitive, and declarative knowledge. That could be all. Thank you.